So begins the end for Darkseid.
I've never seen a being this strong. Maybe one. He's back.
Yeah. So, I blocked out 4 hours of my day to watch that. And, wow. So, I think DC did, they did a very smart move in buying this whole Snyder Cut nonsense. And I think it's going to turn out really awesome for him. So, anyway, happy Snyder Cut Thursday. So, the Snyder Cut version of Justice League dropped today. And some of you might not know what that is. Some of you might know what that is. So, Justice League. So essentially, it's DC's version of the Avengers. It actually was first before the Avengers, but Stan Lee, he created the Avengers based off the idea of the Justice League. You know, Justice League is essentially Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, the Flash, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, all those guys. And so, anyway, this Snyder Cut version, if you recall, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, man, it's got to be, if it's five, wow, time's flying. But anyway, Justice League, the movie came out in theaters, and it kind of bombed. Everyone was already riding high on Marvel's success that they had with the Avengers, and all that hype. It kind of was, you know, people kind of walked into Justice League expecting that kind of level of movie, and they just walked out sadly disappointed because DC and Warner Brothers, they don't like to spend a lot of time in their movie cinematic universe developing characters. They kind of just half-ass throw things together, and then they're like, why don't you like our big pile of steaming shit that we just gave you? And they kind of insult their fan base quite a bit. But they do a good job with their animated movies that they make, that they go straight to DVD and things like that, that are like rated R and things like that. They're pretty cool, and they're actually pretty good. But for some reason, they strike out on the movies, and it's just because I think they try to be too different. They're like, we don't want to get caught copying Marvel. Because I think they kind of feel like we have the original characters, so we kind of have to be original. Where my opinion is, you had a billion dollar idea with, you know, Marvel, who had already forged, you know, trailblazed that for you and forged that path, just copy the same path of least resistance. But now you're using a fresh set of characters that everyone's kind of got burned out a little bit, I think, of the Iron Mans and the Thors and all that kind of stuff. In terms of like, where can they go? They built up to the Thanos in that, and so it's like, where can they go now? So now you would have had a fresh set of characters to build upon. But anyway, long story short, while Zack Snyder was directing the Justice League years ago, during like late production of it or in post production, a tragedy happened in his family. His daughter passed away, so he left the project, got permission from Warner Brothers, because obviously he went to go mourn the passing of his daughter. So Warner Brothers execs were like, well, crap, who are we going to bring in? And so they looked no further than Marvel and the success they'd had with Josh Whedon, who was one of the producers, writers, directors, all that kind of jazz of the original Avengers. And so they brought him over to try and salvage what, you know, the void that was left by Zack Snyder. So he came over, and Zack Snyder has a very specific style. So his style is, it's an acquired taste. It's very dark. It's very gritty. If you've watched 300, Immortals, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel, all those types of movies, they're very CGI heavy. They're very dark. There's like no humor. And so you watch those movies, you have to be like in a certain specific special mood to watch those movies. They're not bad by any means, but they're not an everyday movie that you can just turn on and watch, in my opinion. Good. I love them, but I think that where Warner Brothers may have messed up a little bit was choosing him to be the person, kind of how Christopher Nolan was with the Dark Knight trilogy. They chose Zack Snyder to be like his successor and carry the franchise, the DCU, into the future, where you're basing everything on one flavor. which was Zack Snyder flavor, which not everyone likes. Where Marvel, they can have all these different directors direct these different projects, Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, you had James Gunn, you had the different director, Josh Whedon, obviously, do Avengers, and you had these different directors, but everything kind of felt the same. It all was pretty consistent, pretty fluid with each other. It all rolled into the next movie pretty well. Where if you look at Man of Steel and then you compare it to kind of the campy, lighter Aquaman or Wonder Woman, they don't really mesh well because there's not that much humor in Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, but or Justice League. But you're expected to believe that these characters coexist, but in the same world. But yet, in Superman's world, everything's just dark, gritty, no jokes, no humor. Same with Batman. And then in like Aquaman world and you know, Princess Diana, the Amazon, Wonder Woman, everything's kind of like a little bit lighter hearted and things like that. So that's where Warner Brothers may have messed up a little bit, in my opinion. But so Josh Whedon comes in, directs the original Justice League. It hits theaters. You know, he adds a little bit of humor, tries to at least, and he tries to brighten the colors because Zack Snyder again is very dark. If you look at there's like an overtone to his movies that make it a little bit darker, like a filter effect, and it just doesn't work. The two styles just don't work. It's essentially it's water and gasoline. They just don't work together, and so it didn't end well in the box office the way they thought it would. So fast forward. So apparently, right after the first Justice League or the original one hit theaters, and it was just a pile of crap. A bunch of fans had heard rumors that there was a Snyder cut version, that he actually had finished like 80% of a movie and had it on his computer at home. And so they started this hashtag, Save the Snyder Cut, Save the Snyder Cut, trying to convince Warner Brothers execs to release it. Well, they won. They bought a big billboard outside San Diego Comic-Con like a couple years back saying Save the Snyder Cut. Anyway, Zack Snyder himself got in on that and was like, I'm going to do this. And he started hashtagging it, making it trend. And so much so that Warner Brothers like, screw it, here's $70 million. Go finish the movie that you think you can finish, and we'll release it to HBO Max. And he did. And we got this 4-hour, 6-part, it's like 6 chapters. They're not episodes, it's all one movie, but 6 chapters, 4 hours. Awesome Justice League today. And I'll tell you what, you all know that Superman comes back in the movie, but the way he comes back is awesome. They take more time in character development because the other one just seems so rushed and so campy and just blah. This one explains a lot more. You understand why things are happening. In my opinion, this should be canon, DC canon, not the other one. And in my opinion, hopefully with the success that this has, it should, because I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. They should be able to easily build off of this. I hope so. But anyway, I want to know your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think, and hit me up in the comments and whatnot. But hey, you know, we're gonna keep this thing rolling. So hey, one mic out. You know, I got about one mic out before I got to post this to Instagram. But anyway, hey, keep following one mic out for, you know, with the letter or with the number 1, and you know, we'll see you on the next one. So all right, y'all, have a good Thursday.